For those who don't know me, I'm Pauline Conway. I'm the head of the Chamber of Commerce, and I also have satellites, and I've seen you down like the internet. Do we have any members of the Chamber of Commerce in here tonight? That's a few, okay. Well, we'd like everyone to thank the members of the Chamber of Commerce. Like, don't do business with them if they don't already. If you're not sure who our members are, you can visit the website. They've got a lovely directory of all the businesses on there and little information about them. All right, so I think without further ado, I'll hand over to Hal, and he will get our questions started off.
Good evening, everybody.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Hal Monheit, and I'm a member of the Spirit Lake Chamber of Commerce.
I'm going to be your master of ceremonies tonight, and I apologize already. So we'll get started here in just a minute. I'd like to take a moment and thank you guys for attending. As far as I'm concerned, this is what it's all about. We all get together. We hear from the candidates, we make our decisions. This is what little small town democracy is all about, and I think it's pretty wonderful. I'd like to explain to you how this evening is going to work. We're going to take first city council candidates, and then have a short fight, about a 10-minute intermission, and then we'll do the mayoral candidates. What we'll do is we'll give each one of them 2 minutes, make an opening statement, and then we'll go into question and answer. Then we'll give you all 1 minute to answer questions. We'll ask the questions of all of the candidates. So I'll ask the question once, and all of you will answer it, and we'll start at opposite ends of the table and middle, so everybody gets a chance to answer first and last. All of these are the questions that you've all submitted. 30 plus of them have come in on the internet and have been submitted to us from friends and so forth in advance, and then we got a bunch more here. So I think we've got some good things to hear. Without anything further, what do you say we get started? Mr. Terry Moore, I'm going to try to hand the microphone to you, and sir, you got 2 minutes.
Okay, most people know who I am if you've been around town. I do a lot of work for Spirit Lake Coalition and Heart and Soul. Also have had experience in council before, but not in this city. Spent 20 years in the ministry. Did a lot of work with communities wherever I was a minister at. Worked with crisis and intervention, worked with hospice and different organizations to work with the community. I think I have enough experience with people that I think I can be beneficial in this position. I love this city, would love to be able to work with it, and I think that I could make you a good council member.
If it's okay with you guys, can you guys hear me? I've always been told I'm very loud, and I hate these things. So if you can't hear me, I'll use it.
How about standing up?
Yeah, I'll stand up. I don't have a problem with that. I hate public speaking, but I'll stand up. Okay, for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Tina Sterling, and I'd love to share a little bit about who I am. And yes, I am going to try not to read all of it, but like I said, public speaking is not my forte. I'm 57 years young and the proud owner of 3 pit bulls who keep me very busy. Most of you may have seen me running around the city, being dragged by 1, 2, or 3 of them at any one time. I spent over 20 years in law enforcement, dedicated to protecting and serving the communities I called home. I retired 7 years ago, but I still work part-time in the law enforcement community. Spirit Lake isn't just where I live. I fell in love with this community 5 or 6 years ago. Friends of mine have property out off of the cutoff, and I would come out here, work my butt off for a week on their property, and we stayed in town, and I would walk around, and I just fell in love with the small town community. This is my home. I am not a politician. I'm your neighbor, your friend. I'm someone who genuinely cares about this community. I believe in open communication, clear accountability, and the kind of leadership that means you roll up your sleeves and you get the work done. I want to rebuild trust between the city council and all of you and everybody else here in Spirit Lake. This isn't going to happen overnight, however, Trust is earned through consistent action, transparency, and genuine engagement. What I'm hearing from the community is there is a disconnect, lack of follow-through, and a sense that decisions are being made without public input. I hope that that can end with me. Spirit Lake deserves a council that listens, acts, and reflects the values of all of you. I'm not here to push a personal agenda. I'm here to serve together as a council. There was no way that was 2 minutes. Okay, I'm done. Feel free to ask questions later. That was way faster.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Darrell Woods, and I've been in the city for almost 9 years. So we moved up to Spirit Lake in 2016 when we built our house. We bought our property back in like 13. So we've kind of had our sights set on Spirit Lake for a long time. I'm here with my wife Patty, and actually I've got my daughter and son-in-law and 4 grandkids who live at the house right now. So the household is busy. I came from the fire service, so I came from a public service. I served 26 years in the fire department down in Southern California. And yes, I did come from California, and I did not bring my California politics. I was told a long time ago to leave that down there. So, and I've always tried to work as a citizen to think like what Idaho thinks. I was involved with politics a little bit down in California for a city of about 40,000 people. And then when I moved up here, after a while, we started attending city council meetings and stuff like that, and just kind of got involved. And I decided that if I was going to question things, I needed to be involved. So I decided 4 years ago to run for a council seat, which I'm currently rerunning for that seat. I've always tried to put the community first. I believe that the citizens matter. It's not what Darrell Woods wants, it is what the citizens want. And I think that's what is most important. I've worked to rebuild our police department and get it up to where it needs to be so that we can provide good public safety. I've always tried to fight for the citizens and to get good budgets passed, keeping in mind that the city of Spirit Lake doesn't have a big budget. Thank you. You want me that?
So, my name is Erin Soul. It's nice to meet everybody. She stole my speech because I don't know why. When she's walking around being drugged around by when she's walking around being drugged around by her 3 pit bulls, I have 3 Australian Shepherds that pretty much do the same thing and run my life, literally. I love this town. I moved here about 5 years ago. I came here, stayed at Goose Inn, and fell in love with it. I have been very active in community projects with the coalition on not quite that level, but as far as doing fundraising stuff and doing things to help promote and help our citizens. I believe that we need to come together better and work with the community. I believe that there's a breach in communication between city council, mayors, and all of our community, which we need to fix. I have not ever been in public office, but I absolutely am willing to listen and help in any possible way that I can, and I am dedicated to commit as much possible time and effort, energy that I can to help everybody come together and be better as
Well, I think it's time for some questions. You all want to hand me that microphone?
I turned it off.
Let's see. Let's start with you, Darrell. What specific actions will you take to improve communication and transparency between city staff, council, and residents?
To increase transparency, I've always been available to, upon getting elected the first time, I've always sought to be available to the community. And any questions that the community has had for me, I've always tried to answer them in an honest and a forthcoming way. Unfortunately, in this term, the public did lose their right to speak at council meetings. And so therefore, my goal in this next term is to get that brought back for the citizens of this community, because I think it's important that the citizens have a right to speak at council meetings. Now, that being said, we do have to have some decorum and stuff like that so that we don't have meetings getting out of control. But we need to have that brought back, and that's a goal that I will do to get back for the citizens of the community, and to continue to keep myself available to the citizens.
Just pass it to you.
I absolutely agree with everything that he said. I believe that we've definitely had a breakdown in communication. I definitely believe that we've had a breakdown in communication between city and community, and we need to work on that. I disagree with the way some things have been handled, and I hope that we can all work together better to make our community and our city better together.
Sure.
I mean, it sounds like we're gonna all pretty much have the same general idea. We do need to be more accountable to our citizens. Like I said, I walk around all the time. If anybody sees me out walking around, stop me, talk to me. My dogs don't mind sitting around, they'll lay down, they'll be quiet. You know, once I get in office, I'll have an email. You can email me. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to you. Approach me before after a council meeting if I'm fortunate enough to take one of those seats. I would love to see the public be able to have more input into stuff that's going to be happening around here. We have to. We are a community. You know, we have to take care of one another. And in order to do that, we as a council have to be more open, and we have to listen to what all of you are saying and do the best we can to make sure we can all come to some kind of agreement, something happy, or happy ending. I know that sounds cheesy, but some type of happy ending. But I mean, it sounds like we're all gonna pretty much be on the same boat. I don't usually talk this much, I swear.
Well, my wife wants me to stand up.
Sorry, Terry.
That's all right. I do think we need more transparency. I think it can begin with an open door to city council and an open door to the mayor and the city itself. I think we need an open door to our businesses. I'd like to see the council and the city hall meet with businesses and discuss the needs and problems that we have, because I think we have a disconnect right there right now. I'd like to see more communication with the public so that we can have forums, we can have town halls, so that people have a right to say what they want to say. I don't believe in a bitching session, but I think we need to be able to voice ourselves in a public forum or with each other. And all right, that was short.
1 minute, sir.
Goes by fast.
We're gonna keep moving. We got a lot of questions to ask. This next one is one I really like. I don't know who asked this question, but this is a good one. Do you believe our community should do away with the police department? I'll let you start, since you finished.
No, I don't. We got to have a police department. One thing that I do think that we need is whatever police department we have, if we have a budget set for them, we need to live within that budget. If it means we have 6 officers, 9 officers, whatever budget we have set, we need to have them live within that budget.
Sure.
Coming from a law enforcement background and being in law enforcement still, well, sort of, we definitely have to have a law enforcement agency here. We have to have a police department. And we need to be able to, as a community, work with our, the men and women that are wearing the blue in this community. We have to be able to, they have to be willing to communicate with us. I agree 100% with Terry. They do need to live within the budget they are provided. Maybe work on more grants if we need to expand, look for grant money that can help do what we need for training, for specialty tools, equipment. I came from 2 very large agencies, and yes, I am from that crappy state of California. And I work for 2 different law enforcement agencies there, and the one I currently work for is still in California. But we did a lot of grants back there, and we were able to get the tools and the we call them toys. But yes, I think we definitely have to have an agency, a police department, and we as a community need to communicate with them. You're up now.
So, yes, we do need a police department. I hear rumblings occasionally from people that go, why do we have a police department? Because unfortunately, we have to have law and order in the community, and that's very important to me. We have a very good police department. Midway through our term, we lost our one chief. We have a very good chief right now, and he's worked hard to rebuild this department. We went from basically no officers to where now we have about 8 officers plus a couple of reserve officers. That is very important. But with that, yes, there are limitations with budgets and stuff like that, and we have to work within those budgets. However, it's something that we're going to have to look at. How big of a department do we want as a citizen, as a group? Do we want to keep what we have? Then we're going to have to look at different funding measures. And I know that the police department goes out a lot to get grants to help the funding that they currently have. So that's something that we have to continue to work with.
I think we all just need a box to check off because we all are saying the same things and we all agree on the same things. My only thing that I have issues about is that we don't have any way to get a hold of the police department if there's a problem. We call a number and it gets sent to Coogee County Sheriff's Office, which does nobody any good in Spirit Lake, Idaho, if we have an emergency. So I know me being working at the bar, we've had problems before where it's taken multiple hours for somebody to show up to help us in a situation. So that being said, that's my only concern, absolutely including the police department. I don't know enough about the budget to speak on that, but I am absolutely excited to learn about that.
What is your position on hiring a trained and experienced city manager?
You're going to stand up. I just don't know.
Okay.
You're in charge.
Oh, I'm in charge. Who's going to go next?
Over here.
There's pros and cons to having a full-time city manager. I mean, honestly, as we sit right now, right this minute, Spirit Lake cannot afford a full-time city manager. We do not have the budget, unfortunately, for a full-time city manager. You know, that is something that I would like to maybe possibly look forward to in the future. But right now we can't, unfortunately. You know, and I'm going to hear grumblings about this later, I'm sure. I believe the staff that we have right now, with the budget we have right now, are doing the best they can with what they have. A lot of them are working taking on different jobs that shouldn't necessarily be under their umbrella, but because we have a small town, small city hall, that's how it has to go. And so a full-time city manager at some point in time, why not? Let's take a look at it, let's work on the budget. But I think right now we have bigger things in this city that we need to address prior to having a full-time city manager. You're up there.
Check mark with the box again. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think this all directly relates back to the fact that we all need to work together, and if we're all on the same page and have the same goals in mind, then we should be able to do that together with what we've got already in place, and that we don't need to spend more money doing something that isn't exactly necessary when we have people that can do it if we're all working together to make the best for our community and our city.
Oh, there. It might be off there.
I feel kind of like Tina did as far as the city manager. I would like to see a city manager, but like she says, at this point, I don't think we would financially be able to support that. But it would be something I think we should look into as we move forward.
Yes, we do. I think we do need a city manager. I think our current system doesn't necessarily work the way that it should, and I think that we would do better to have a city manager. But there's some things that have to happen. One, budget-wise, yes, we do have to work on that. However, if we work with the current administration of the administration, that city manager may be able to do a couple, 3 different functions, which would help offset different things that we're currently looking at as far as HR people and stuff like that. But then one of the other hurdles that we have to overcome is that has to be changed within the city bylaws and stuff like that. And that would have to go to the citizens of Spirit Lake as to whether or not we want to have a city manager. So there's a couple of things that have to change, work there. But yes, I would very much like to see a city manager for the city of Spirit Lake.
This next one is kind of a long one. It's actually a 2-parter. I gotta get the second part in here. Okay, I'm ready. We are concerned about lake access and preservation of the natural ecosystem of the mill pond. We do not want to see building across the lake from the park. There is little lake access for residents of Spirit Lake. We would like to address your opinion on this, but the question is really a larger question than that. And that is, what is your position on the comprehensive plan development on the mill pond?
Remember to keep the lights up by your face so when you pull them back, you hear you.
Okay, I switched that off.
Well, I understand people don't want any building on the mill pond. The guy does own that land, he has rights. I would like to see those rights taken into consideration, but we also have guidelines with our city. All of that property is in the city limits, and we have guidelines as far as plot plans and site plans and all of that to keep from it. I know in the comprehensive plan, it started out when we first put that into action, that that was put in as residential mixed use with agreement. I know the council has worked with them to change that, and now it's going to be residential, commercial with agreement. Most people don't know that the guy has agreement with that property, and he will have to come to the city. Any changes that are made in that property whatsoever, he'll have to go through the city. He can't just come in and do whatever he wants to, even though he owns the land.
Let's look at that one.
I was scared of it. I'm going to be honest, I am just currently been learning about the comprehensive plan. I've attended 2 workshops, so I am learning more and more about the comprehensive plan. The mill pond, I agree with Terry. I think the council should be, after talking to everybody, be allowed to try to figure out what we can and can't do there. And I agree, this gentleman needs to have his rights upheld. And again, we have to try to. We can't make everybody happy, but we're going to do the best we can as council members to do what's best for the citizens and, for Spirit Lake itself. This isn't a topic I'm very comfortable with because, like I said, I'm still learning. But I think the comprehensive plan will do a really good job at helping us decide and figure out what we need to do with the mill pond and what we can't do when talking to the gentleman.
So, like Tina said, we have been working the planning and zoning, spent a lot of hours on the comprehensive plan, and then it finally made it to city council, and we've got a couple, 3 different workshops on that to kind of get that solidified and squared away. That gentleman, yes, if he doesn't build, somebody else will buy the land and they'll want to build. So what we have to do as a city council, we have to do what is best for the citizens of Spirit Lake. We have to try and protect the pond the best way that we can through some zoning changes and stuff like that, maybe. And then as far as when he submits his plans, all that has to go through planning and zoning, then the city council. And that's where we make sure that that basically the rights of the citizens are protected. And the fact that in our zoning that we keep it at half acre, a minimum half acre lot, so that we don't get a lot of homes in there. There is going to be a little bit of commercial in there, but it's going to be a very small percentage. But it'll be the council's job and planning and zoning's job to basically protect that area and try and provide for what the gentleman that owns that and also the citizens of Spirit Lake. So that's about it.
I am with Dean on this one. I don't know enough about this to make a very good stance on this, but I would love to answer these questions later. So I'm hard pressed to think that anything commercial should be there at all. But again, I don't know enough about this subject to speak on it well enough. So I would be excited to learn more about this. Regardless of what happens, I will be paying more attention to this.
Next question, Adam.
After the last city council workshop on the comprehensive plan, the section that had to do with multifamily housing on the pond was not changed. That still remains. What is your position on multifamily housing on the pond, and will you vote for the comprehensive plan as it's currently written? We're going to ask you all to please use the microphone because there's a lot of people in the back and they're having a very hard time hearing. Let's start with here, Tina.
I'm going to apologize to those of you up front by the speaker because it's going to get loud. Can you guys hear me in the back? Is that okay? All right. As I said before, I'm still learning about the comprehensive plan, all the changes and stuff. I don't necessarily agree with multi-family housing. That's the question. Yes. I don't. In some aspects, it can be good. In certain areas, it can be better. That area out there, I don't know if multi-family housing would be a good fit necessarily. But again, this is not this area of that is not my forte. I couldn't hear me. Okay. So please forgive me that I am not 100% up to speed on that. Like I said, I've attended 2 meetings regarding the comprehensive plan, so I'm slowly learning about it. And I think the people that have been involved in the committee working on it have done an excellent job and are continuing to do a good job trying to make sure the citizens in Spirit Lake are taken care of in this new comprehensive plan that will come before the city council either by the end of the year or first of next year. So, thank you.
So yes, the comprehensive plan is a big thing, and I know a lot of people have concerns about it. And that area has been a big concern for a lot of people, and I understand that. Yes, there does call for some mixed-use housing in there, like possibly apartments, condos, and stuff like that. But the majority of it is going to be all residential. Depending on how it all ends up, there may be a little bit of some mixed-use housing, and there is going to be a little bit of commercial in there because as a community, we're going to have to look at all different avenues, and we can't just lock ourselves into one certain things. And so this is one thing that we consider as a council and what we continue to work for. I think we're going to be voting on the comprehensive plan here pretty soon. So maybe at the next meeting, and it could be a public meeting, I encourage everybody to come out, and if they have concerns about that plan, to come out and voice it to the council members so that we can hear more from the community on it.
Will you vote for the plan?
I've had a couple of concerns, but yes, right now I feel pretty comfortable with the plan as written. Part of that is that by the time we get to that, that plan will change. So there's a lot of things that will change in that plan.
Again, I'm sorry, I am not well versed in this particular area, so I will look into this and pay better attention. I don't have a lot to say on this because I'm kind of amazed. So no, I would not vote yes on this plan because I obviously do not know exactly what it is in it at this point in time.
Moderator, would you explain to me what multifamily is?
As the plan was written, it said that it could be multifamily, it didn't specify apartments or condos, and it could be up to 17 an acre on the pond.
Okay. Well, I know you said they had a workshop recently.
Well, you guys had one last week, correct?
Right.
And from what I understood at the workshop, there was no changes for the area on the other side of the pond. It was only in the other areas that there was changes.
Well, from what I understand.
I'm not there.
Well, I was on planning and zoning. I worked on the comprehensive plan, and I thought we did a great job. The area that he's talking about, multi-family or multi-units on, with the workshop, from what I understand, they've changed that with the new wording on that. If you look at the comprehensive plan, when it talks about multi-use, it's in an orange color. When you get over to where it says multi-use on the pond, that's in a gray color. So now they've changed the wording a little bit so that it's R1 commercial with agreement. And what that will do away with any multi-use building over there. They won't be able to put 17 units per acre over there. So that'll be something the council will have to approve. But as it stands with what we went through in the workshop and the rewording of it and stuff, I would have to vote for it as a yes.
Thank you very
Can I answer that question? Why are we even talking about water and storage?
Do you think our Main Street is healthy and successful?
I think that Main Street is not healthy and that it could be more successful. We definitely need to have more interaction, participation community-wise and with our small businesses. There's a lot of things that could be done to change how well we can be successful. I think that we're all basically getting back to, we all need to support each other and help each other out in order to keep our community together and help each other thrive.
No, our Main Street isn't healthy and it isn't successful. And that's something that's been very frustrating as a council member currently, and the fact that it isn't healthy and successful. And that's something that we need to really work on, hopefully with possibly a new mayor and some changes maybe in the council, that we can meet with the businesses and have meetings with them so that we can get to that point where we can get that downtown. And then we could look at some grants and stuff like that we could do to help beautify downtown and get it to where it's more desirable for people to come to.
Guys, I want you all to win. You gotta pick up those mics close to you so the people in the back can hear you, okay?
Okay. I apologize to people. Okay, I agree that we could do better downtown. I think Main Street should be a very vibrant and thriving area. I was looking on Zillow the other day just for fun, and it showed, I think we have 2 buildings down there right now that are for sale. And with with the hardware store closing, that could be potentially 3. The community I came from in California had a lot of great activities and things that we did in downtown, and I think our downtown, it's probably a quarter of the size that I came from, but I think we could do more, and I think as a city council, we need to work with the businesses, we need to work with people who possibly want to put a business in there and see if we can help them bring their business to Spirit Lake. We need to. Spirit Lake is a great community. Small town, we need to do it.
Most people know that I'm concerned about Main Street downtown because I'm usually there shoveling snow or sweeping the sidewalks or I do think that we can make some improvements there, but I think it's going to take community support, it's going to take city council support, it's going to take a mayor's support. There's avenues I think that could be opened up. We could start having meetings with the city people, the people that own businesses there, and sit down and talk with them. What would they be able to do, or what would they like to do to make their place look better, or to make Main Street look better? We need to have that open communication. She said I need to get closer. But anyway, I think that the Chamber of Commerce could be involved in this. I think they could have avenues. Okay.
How are we doing so far, everybody? Candidates look pretty good?
You need to speak up.
Okay. What is your budget management experience outside of your personal budget? And have you ever worked with budgeting within a municipality? Let's start at the other end with Aaron.
So, we used to, my ex-husband and I used to own a business in Potlatch, Idaho. I was office manager for 12 years, so I'm familiar with doing budget in municipality, no, not so much. But we obviously can keep a budget, we should be doing better at it in the community with more transparency, is my opinion.
Sure.
Okay, where I came from down in California, the department I used to work with, I used to be involved in the different budget operations there. And one of the positions I had within that department was the facilities and maintenance. And so I had a fairly large budget dealing with that. And then the last 4 years, working on city council, I've had to be involved with the budget as it relates to the city and finding the money that we need to find, getting it allocated to where we need to get it allocated. So it can be an arduous task, and there can be some tough times because all the different departments want a certain amount of money, and as the council, we have to try and find that money for each of the departments. And every department is important in the city. So as a council member, it takes a lot of time. It takes more than just going to a meeting once a month.
Since I'm not allowed to use my own budget, I don't have a ton of experience, but the law enforcement agency I did work for in California, I was in charge of this program called the Explorers Program, and I had a very specific budget for that, and trust me, if I went over a penny, I heard about it. I had to sit down sometimes weekly with the lady that was in charge of the actual money, and we would would go over everything. If I wrote a check, I had to justify it. I also worked on a grant there, so I understand budgets. I have sat down with our city clerk and looked at the budget for Spirit Lake, and yes, we have some issues, and we do need to start working on those issues to try to. Now you all heard me in the back, didn't you? Oh, is that what that was? Okay, perfect. That did not tell me.
Let's have a short.
Yeah.
I worked on the city council in South Dakota and worked with budgets and stuff there. Also managed a welding shop and also a warehouse at 20 employees. So I do have some experience in budgeting, but I would always believe in a balanced budget. I believe in living within your means. So if elected to the council, I would work ardently to keep a balanced budget and make sure that things are spent the way they need to be spent.
Why should small business owners support your campaign?
Let's start with it.
Well, I've been on the council for 4 years, and everything that I've done and the stuff that I've tried to do within the council, within its means, has been for not only the citizens of Spirit Lake, but for the businesses. I've spoken with several business leaders and stuff like that as to what their needs are, to find out what they need and what they're lacking. And so I'm hoping that this next 4 years, there would be some changes in the administration, and we can really work closer with the business leaders and have those meetings that we need to get done to find out what their needs are and see what, as a city, what we can do for them. Because if we don't have a strong downtown or a strong business community, then we don't really have a strong city.
So, as many of you know, I work downtown at the Lincoln Lager and have for 2.5 years currently. I have recently been promoted, so we are in the process of hoping that City Council, one way or the other, can help us revamp some of the things that we need to do downtown, because we need to have more interaction with downtown. We need to have more people being brought downtown, and community, everybody. We need everybody's support to do this, and I feel like we haven't had that in a long time, and everybody's on the same page about what we want. We just need to make it happen better with more support inside City Council, the mayor, and all of you to help us make that better.
As far as small businesses are concerned, sometimes they get overlooked because they are small. They're nothing against the Linger. The Linger is a staple. Bronson Brew or Main Street, it's a staple. You forget about the little people, the smaller businesses. You have all those tiny businesses up above Big Pueblo. Do many people know about those? Maybe not. So we as a council need to try to work with the businesses, the smaller ones, like Aaron said, we need to get more communication, we need to get more notice to them as well. The big businesses, they're easy. They get Cedars. I worked there part-time for a little while. They have their big, Bob's Big Boy out front, drags in all kinds of people. It's good for them. But we need to try to work better with the smaller businesses. I'm not saying we're going to forget about the big businesses. That's not going to happen. But I think the smaller businesses, the nail places, the smaller hair places, those kind of places need to have more push to get more business to them. Get more people out from the outside in here to start using their businesses. That's my thought.
Well, I think in order to help the small businesses, we need to communicate more with them. I think the chamber could be a real help in that area. And the city council, I think we need to be communicating with them. Is there some areas in their business that maybe we could make some changes that would help them to be able to survive a lot better? But I think we just need a lot better communication with them in order to do that.
Okay.
Well, I got it right here. Okay, there it is. How much time are you able to commit to the position if you win?
Well, I'm retired, so I'm sure that I could give as much time as needed. Most people know that I spend a lot of time helping the city already, so I think I would have enough time.
We had too many timers running.
There'll be a lot of things that I will have to learn in this, but I'm willing to put the effort in order to learn the things I need to learn to be successful and helpful in our city. I see a lot of things just in my involvement with the city. I see a lot of things I'd like to see improvements in, and things that I'd like to make better. And so I would give my full support to making it done. And I think the people that know me will know that if I see something, I'll go after it.
I am semi-retired. My current part-time position, my hours are extremely flexible. If I don't want to get up and work at 8 o'clock, I want to work at 7 o'clock at night, I can. So I can put in as much time as I need, or as much time as needed for me to help improve, work on ordinances, budget, whatever, come to workshops. I have absolutely no problem with that. Like I said, I've started doing those things. So I have a lot of time. I really want to be able to work with the community. Like I said earlier, I don't have a problem meeting any of you at any time. Cup of coffee, burger, whatever, shake. We can go sit down and have a nice long conversation. So my time's pretty available, and I will put. I don't need the money's not an issue for me. I know we get paid a little stipend. That's fine. That doesn't matter to me. To me, it's about the community, about the citizens, and about the neighborhood I live in.
Right on the money.
I'm getting angry now.
So yes, I do have the time to put in. I am retired. I've been retired for a lot of years, so planning on it, but that was a different story. So, but yes, I am retired. Being on the council for the last 4 years, I've put in a lot of hours to the council, and sometimes it's multiple meetings all the time. Sometimes there's just your standard city council meeting once a month, and then when it comes to budget time, you can be looking at workshops and budget meetings and stuff like that once or twice a week till you get those things fixed. And then there's the code and ordinances that you have to deal with, and so sometimes we're in workshops and stuff like that to deal with those code and ordinances. So yes, there's a lot involved being on the council, and I've done it for 4 years, and I'm willing to do it another 4 years because I care about the citizens of this community and I care about this city. Thank you.
So anybody that knows me knows how much time and energy I put into anything that matters to me, and the city and the community matter a lot to me. So I have spent time reading the city ordinances and in my 3 hours of sleep generally that I get a night. So I put as much time into everything that I possibly can, and in this position would also do the same thing.
It would now be intermission time, and thank you to all the candidates for attending.